To Robert Wendler, Director of Trading, fellow instructors of Guide Dogs of the Desert, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share with you the information needed in best helping to complete my application for hopeful guide dog mobility training at Guide Dogs of the Desert. At this time, I wish to welcome you to the University of San Diego, where I am presently rebuilding and rehabilitating from a fatal hit-and-run accident of several years ago. My hope is to pursue a sociology and counseling degree, whereupon I'm able to help both people who are blind as well as veterans returning from overseas with disabilities to start a new life for themselves. My biggest reward is helping those, seeing I've been helped so well. In the next 20 minutes, my hope is to answer as many questions as possible as required in the videotape directions. With that, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Michael Girard, or as I like to be called, Mike to all my friends. I hope one day soon to have all those at Guide Dogs of the Desert to be my friend. Presently, my vision involves the following. I have what is called bare light perception. That means I can make out that there is light versus dark. For instance, I can see the light to the left of me by looking at it. It is a light object against a dark contrast. I can see within a 5-inch, or at least to the extent of my arm, my left index finger. My vision loss occurred from a hit-and-run accident. I was hit and run down. It caused the occipital lobe of my brain to be damaged. It caused the optic nerve to be severed. It caused the retina to be detached and also to degenerate. My residual vision, again, primarily only consists of bare light perception and responding to gross or rough images. In effect, I am very much like an old camera, the old Brownie cameras that constantly need focusing and need an extremely long distance lens, similar to the type that Jimmy Stewart used in Rear Window, if that helps for an analogy. At this time, the other questions I wish to respond to include the following. Yes, I have had a guide dog before. I was extremely blessed to be trained with Mr. Wendler at Guide Dogs of America, located in Sylmar. The dog had attention and focusing issues. He was unable to manage the demands. For the sake of everybody's safety, including the dog as well as mine, it seemed wiser to retire and start a new life in San Diego. As a result of relocating to San Diego, it's enabled my constant and chronic health issues to heal very nicely. I deal with severe arthritis. My lower back, my tail areas, and legs were broken and fractured. It causes neurological problems where I have to constantly pace how long I sit, as well as pace how long I stand. So if I'm in constant movement, I don't feel the pain. If I'm constantly walking, I don't feel the pain. I am able to manage class by constantly shifting or having very nice thick cushions underneath. I do smoke some. I'm not a chain smoker. I abide to the smoking policies. I would by all means smoke outdoors should I need a cigarette. Guide dog training can be stressful for most people. So, should I need a smoke versus needing a smoke, I would by all means comply to the policies. I do have some physical limitations. However, I have managed them greatly due to the weather here in Southern California. I mostly have sitting issues, which I can remedy with cushions. I have some balance issues, which I am working on with more exercise, more stretching. I mostly have some neurological conditions that occur from a hit-and-run accident, but those are very much under control due to my daily exercise regimens. As for a breed and as for a gender, I wish to answer those questions. With regards to the breed, I am very receptive to a short-haired dog. Ideally, I would like a lab, or a lab crossed with a poodle, the labradoodles as they now call them. I really want a dog that can enable me to travel as safely as possible and as independently as possible so that I'm able to maneuver just like normal folks and just be as a regular Joe, as they say in the military. I really don't have a breed preference. It would be nice to have a female. I am most receptive to a dog that is very confident, that is able to adapt to most scenarios, one that needs some support, but not constant support. I am ideally, I stress those words, ideally wanting a dog that looks forward to lots of work, lots of challenges, and again, adapts to most situations. By that I refer to that I, in a day's time, will travel within 5 or 6 different environments. I'll easily go from a highly urban downtown environment, similar to that of downtown Los Angeles or downtown San Diego, to the beachside communities nearby Point Loma, where the Navy barracks are located, or to something as rural as the high desert areas such as Escondido, where it's a bit more suburban, a bit more rural, and it's more car-oriented, where everyone and everybody maneuvers with a motor car. In San Diego, I am blessed with the transportation to go in an hour's time into those 4 very unique items that are joined very nicely by the public transportation here in San Diego. As for public transportation, I use the bus, I use the trolley system, I use the coaster that connects me to the North County areas of Oceanside, Escondido, even Del Mar. I use the Amtrak train that can connect me to Palm Springs, Los Angeles, and all throughout California, as well as the remainder of this country. In fact, 4 years ago, I left the East Coast by train, and 4 trains later, 3 days later, I arrived into San Diego, and for the first 4 months of my life, I lived in the Gaslamp, the main downtown area of San Diego, and then I moved to one beach community called Pacific Beach, and then for the next 2 years of my life, I lived in the Ocean Beach area, and the past 2 years I've lived closer to the downtown in the south side of Balboa Park, seeing my home is so close to a bus stop. As a result of sharing that, I've become extremely familiar with San Diego, its public transit, and I know how to chart out a map. Later on in the videotape, that'll be demonstrated. At this time, I wanted to share with you as many of the questions that I was required to answer and felt might give a better insight to my being considered for your outstanding program at Guide Dogs of the Desert. Before I close, I am quickly reviewing what questions I haven't already answered for you. And I believe I've answered almost all. With that, let me pause to do a quick review. Should I need to answer more questions, I will resume. If I'm finished, thank you so much for allowing me to share this videotape with you. Hopefully this will enable me to be an excellent prospect for your training program.